Komatipoort residents on alert after prison escape from Mozambique.
Let's go to this story now. Residents of Komatipoort near the Mozambique border in Mpumalanga say that they will be vigilant as they are concerned about their safety. This is following a prison escape in Mozambique. They are worried that the prisoners who escaped from a maximum prison in the neighboring country might cross the border to hide in South Africa as they are being sought by the police. News from Africa, Samueli Masilela is following that story for us. Samueli, very good morning. So what have you been able to observe so far in that particular area, and also considering the South African security agencies and whether they are able to respond to some of these concerns?
Yes, Aldrin, yesterday evening we drove around with my colleague Max Slotolo just to check the situation around the border as well as the community of Komatipoort. And what we observed yesterday is that there was a lot of movement of members of the South African Defence Force checking some pubs as well as the nearby filling station. And that's perhaps an indication that the security agencies in South Africa are on high alert. You'll know that the Border Management Authority as well, as much as it has indicated that it's part of its day-to-day operations to monitor what is happening at the border post. But of course, they are very much aware of what might happen. That is why they even visited those illegal crossings along the borderline between South Africa and Mozambique, as well as South Africa and the Kingdom of Eswatini, because Aldrin, those are the two countries that are close to Mozambique, that is South Africa and Eswatini. So the expectation is that as those prisoners are being chased by the police, they're busy following them at the present moment, chances are that they will skip to South Africa and Eswatini. But of course, the commander of the police in Mozambique, that is Bernardino Rafael, made it very clear, Aldrin, that as these prisoners have escaped, they are expecting a spike in crime in Maputo and surrounding areas. That is why here where we are, Komatipoort, which is just adjacent the Libombo border post, they are also concerned to say that those people might come the side and cause some trouble, mainly because there was a number of incidents even about 6 months ago where people committed serious crimes like murder and rape here, and those people, Aldrin, were arrested in Mozambique. So they say that as much as they don't want to instill fear in the community, they believe that this is a matter that they should look into. They must be vigilant. Let's bring in a community member here, Nati Mamba, just to give us his perspective about what is happening here. Of course, you've heard about the situation in Mozambique, those prisoners escaping, and community members might be concerned here. Is that the very sentiment that you are sharing as a community leader?
Yes, Mweli, you know, what is happening actually, it's a concern for everybody, especially the surroundings, the residentials, the business people in Komatipoort. If you look at the previous incidents of criminals went to the bushes and keep hostage of truck drivers, even farm workers, demand money and all that stuff. And those people were not caught in South Africa. They were caught in Mozambique by Mozambique intelligence. And some of our community went to confirm that these people were really the people that were terrorizing the community of Komatipoort. Just take cognizance now that a bunch of prisoners were actually let to go, especially in a maximum prison where you expect really murderers and all that stuff. Can you just imagine? From that time, I could not sleep well because I know myself what has happened before and now. And it takes me to saying all the community in Komatipoort, respectively, even NAS and all the trusts and villages, we must unite against these criminals that just ran away from Mozambique. Because if you cannot unite, the very same criminals will come to terrorize us, and we got nothing to stand for, because I'm told that they've taken even AK-47. That same AK-47 would be used to kill the business people, would be used to, keep ransom, the business people, demand of money. Look at what is happening in Mozambique in terms of business and so forth and so on. You can see, once they have looted all the businesses and everything, then they will stave Once they starve, they will come to South Africa. There's no other alternative than South Africa, especially in Komatipoort. Because in Komatipoort, if you look at it now, we only survive because of the border. All the businesses survive because of the border. If you look at the unrest from the beginning up until now, it tells you, you can even go look for the other businessman, he will tell you that his business has dropped, restaurants, hotels, everybody. So if now you say they are criminals, can you just imagine how bad it will be? But I'm confident that only community can stand and fight against this type of criminals that have run away from Mozambique. But I'm worried of the weapons that were smuggled in the prisons to bring them in South Africa, because no one is equal to that AK-47s. We only have got R4s. Then no one is equal. So we ask the South African Police Service, the border management, to be too vigilant, not just vigilant, but make sure that they protect the interests of the South Africans, especially the businessman that is doing business in the border.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us. Aldrin, that's Natimamba, one of the community leaders here. Of course, touching on the impact of the violent protests that are currently unfolding in Mozambique, having a devastating impact on the economy of this town and other surrounding areas, and pleading with the government and law enforcement agencies to try and make sure that they contribute in ensuring that there is peace and stability at the site, especially after that prison escape, Aldrin.
Thank you so much for that update there. Joining us from Komatipoort is Mweli Masilela.